If you enjoy this video, please remember to like and subscribe, and if you would like to support the channel on Patreon or PayPal, the links are listed below. The spy and crime genre on TV was extremely popular throughout the 1960s. Women on television were usually put in the support roles, but not the lead roles. With the short-lived TV series Honey West, it was groundbreaking as it would contain the first female lead in a detective series. Honey West ran for just one season on ABC from September the 17th of 1965 until April the 8th of 1966 at 30 episodes. The series revolved around Honey West, a female detective who, after her father's death, takes over his private detective agency. West would take on tough cases and easily solve them with the assistance of ex-Marine Sam Bolt and her pet ocelot, Bruce. The Honey West character was created and based on the Pulp Fiction series of novels in the late 50s and early 1960s, with the final novel published in 1971 by Gloria and Forrest E. Skip Fickling under the pseudonym G&G Fickling. The G&G would actually represent the initials of his wife, Gloria Gautreaux, whom he married in 1949. Most of the writing was done by Forrest, but Gloria would come up with the idea of creating a believable female character. Forrest told the Los Angeles Times, "I first thought of Marilyn Monroe, and then I thought of fictional detective Mike Hammer, and decided to put the two together. We thought the most used name for someone you really like is Honey, and she lives in the West, so there was her name." The series was produced by Aaron Spelling, who would later create the hit series Charlie's Angels. The character Honey West, played by Anne Francis, would first appear on an episode of the series Burke's Law, titled Who Killed the Jackpot. This appearance would lead to a spin-off series, Honey West. Anne Francis wasn't the first choice to play Honey, with producer Aaron Spelling's first choice being Honor Blackman, whom he had seen in the James Bond film Goldfinger, in the iconic role of Pussy Galore. She at this time was starring in the UK spy series The Avengers as Kathy Gale. Interesting to note that the role of Honey West was developed as an American counterpart to the roles of Kathy Gale and Emma Peel in The Avengers. The role of Honey West was more suitable for Anne Francis, who was perfect in the role. Francis had an extensive film and TV acting career, already starring in a number of films including The Blackboard Jungle, Bad Day at Black Rock, and the groundbreaking sci-fi film Forbidden Planet, and a number of TV roles in episodes of The Twilight Zone, The Fugitive, and The Invaders. John Erickson was cast as Sam Bolt, alongside Francis. Erickson had starred in a number of films at MGM, and incidentally had starred alongside Anne Francis as her brother in the John Sturges directed film starring Spencer Tracy, Bad Day at Black Rock, in 1955. He had also co-starred with Barbara Stanwyck in the western 40 Guns in 1957, and in 1958 he starred in the western Day of the Bad Man alongside Fred MacMurray. For many people, especially women at this time, the series was monumental in showing the viewers that a woman can be just as powerful as a man. Her partner Sam Bolt wasn't really terribly bright, whereas Honey West ran her own business. She was smart, sophisticated, and could handle herself in a fight, and had a black belt in judo and karate.
You want to play it the hard way? Let's dance.
Stuntman Gene LaBelle devised the fight scenes on the series, and had worked in many movies and TV shows. In fact, LaBelle was one of the many inspirations for the character of Cliff Booth, played by Brad Pitt, in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in 2019. In the fight scenes in the series, it can sometimes be obvious that they put a blonde wig on a male stuntman, which sadly takes away from the realism of the scenes. Honey West used a number of cool James Bond-inspired gadgets, with everything from tear gas earrings to lipstick radio transmitters. She even drove a cool sports car, a white Shelby AC Cobra convertible, but usually travelled in a high-tech surveillance van disguised as a TV repair truck. Interesting to note that the convertible car was loaned out by Shelby American in 1965 for use in the series, and was sold by Shelby American in 1966 for just $3,900. Fashions were a big part of the show, and most of her outfits were supplied by Nolan Miller. The Ocelot, Bruce, was one of the biggest positives of the show, but apparently was quite a handful on set. The series was developed for television by Gwen Bagni and Paul Dubov, a husband and wife team. Gwen Bagni was a writer on a number of TV shows including Alfred Hitchcock Presents, Climax, Rawhide and Gunsmoke, with Dubov being a writer and an actor on shows like The Untouchables. The original novels by Gloria and Forrest Fickling that the Honey West series was based on were far more adult in content than the TV series, and many aspects from the novels had to be cut out of the television series to cater for a young audience. The majority of the series was scripted by Richard Levinson and William Link, who would later work as writers on series like Columbo and Murder, She Wrote. Regardless of the fun nature of the series, it would fail to make up for the poor production values and storylines and scripts. The series would be parodied in Mad Magazine as Honey Waste, and a set of Gold Key comics were published. There was also a doll and a board game. Sadly, Honey West was cancelled after just one season on ABC. It was also cheaper for the ABC network to import The Avengers from the UK and air it at the same time slot, rather than produce Honey West at a far higher cost. Even though the series was cancelled, Honey West would earn Anne Francis a nomination at the Golden Globes for a Best Actress Emmy. Honey West was definitely groundbreaking in its approach and was the first series with a female lead in the role. It inspired many shows including The Girl from U.N.C.L.E. to 70s shows like Policewoman to Charlie's Angels. I've always been a great fan of Anne Francis, and she definitely looks like she's having a great time in the role. Honey West was a light-hearted TV series which didn't take itself too seriously. It's definitely worth tracking down on DVD. My name's Jonathan. Thanks for watching.